Let's see, who else do we have? Miss Rhonda Knight said, Stevie Love, yes. And Denise said, hey, hey. So happy you're here. So tonight we are making gingery carrot soup. And I thought it would be a good one because the past 2 weeks, I have been struggling with this nasal thing. I'm blaming the change and shifts in all the weather. So, I mean, it's just allergies. But still, when you can't get breath up to your brain, it just makes things harder. And so I literally lived off of this soup. I had a little bit for breakfast and I had a ton from my lunches. And I really do think that's the magic in what healed me in like just a couple days. I'm feeling so much better. So we're gonna jump in. Like I said, as at the top of the hour, or the hour of this workshop, we're gonna talk more as the food is simmering because I have a few things to share about the nutrients that are going into the soup. But I also have some questions for you, my friends. So stick around because I would love to have a conversation as the soup is simmering. So we're just gonna jump right in. First, this soup can be made, as I'm sure you saw the picture, either kind of swirled and pureed. That's my favorite kind of way to eat soup. I just love that type of texture. But for my husband, not so much. And so tonight I'm going to show you how to make it both ways. We can keep it either kind of stewy, or I think he uses the word chunky sometimes, so chunky soup, or pureed. With that said, if you are of the likes of the stewy, chunky version, then all your chops you want to be really bite-sized where you can enjoy them. If you're going straight to puree, like I love, and you know, kind of the lazy way, which I kind of am, feel free to make your chops larger. We'll be fine because we're not using a whole bunch of food tonight, which is great. So if you are cooking with me, which I really hope you are, grab your healthy fats, whether that's ghee or butter, full fat butter, olive oil, or I think coconut oil would actually be really good in this one. And I tonight am using the Miyoko's vegan butter, which I think tastes so much like butter, but it doesn't have any of the dairy byproducts. So I'm actually becoming more and more of a fan the more I cook with it. So I've already got my 2 tablespoons in the stock pot. And then we're gonna have a red onion. We're gonna have some garlic. We're gonna have some ginger, carrots, cauliflower, filtered water, and or broth. I can tell you I've made this soup quite a few times. If we don't have broth in the house, I just double up on the water. So we're gonna have 6 cups of liquid. Oh, and thank you, Alicia, on Facebook. So great to see you. Welcome this evening. So either the 3 cups of water and the 3 cups of broth, or just do 6 cups of water. And then if you do only the water, you're gonna want to add a little bit more sea salt just to kick up the flavor profile. We're gonna have some dried thyme, some sea salt, black pepper, and then any herbs that you might have in the fridge will be delish. Tonight I've got dill and parsley. We're gonna put that on the side at the end. So let's dig in with chopping our onion, because that's what we're gonna be, I was about to say sizzling. That works. We'll be sizzling up the onion and the garlic and the ginger first. Those are the harder root type vegetables that we want to cook down a little bit before we add the rest of the veggies. So you guys are in for a treat tonight. You get to see me in my goggles. This is one trick I learned from my teacher, Megan Teltner, because my eyes are very sensitive and these keep me from crying. So I'm wearing onion goggles, and yes, this is a thing. I found them on Amazon, I think for like 15, 16 bucks. So they're cheap if you want to join. Or for my mountain friends, which I think is most of us, if you have some ski goggles in your garage or basement, pull those out. We don't need to have any tears. This is happy food. Culinary nutrition is happy. So, as I say quite a few times, if you are a chef, turn your head as I chop because I'm not a chef. I am culinary nutritionist. Emphasis on the nutritionist. So my goal is to get as much joy and happiness and nutrition in your body as possible. So all that to say, this onion, one of the techniques I've learned, and sorry, I don't mean to keep pointing the knife at you. That's not very nice. Is we're gonna make a flat surface on the onion. So I'm cutting the side, and let me show you, because it's really important that you keep the kind of woody side intact. So I'm cutting the kind of papery side off, just so that we have a flat surface to begin with. So flat surface, and then again, this kind of woody side where the straw is poking out like the straw man. No, what's the guy's name in The Wizard of Oz? The
Scarecrow?
Scarecrow, yes. So we've got a little scarecrow action going on my red onion. One more thing before I cut into this red onion. Feel free to use a yellow onion, a white onion. If you have leeks, if you have celery, you can add all of that. It could be an and, or it could be an or. Tonight I'm choosing to use red onion because I think it adds a nice sweetness. And this soup is going to have the sweetness from the carrots and the red onion. So we're practically eating dessert for dinner tonight. All right, so we've got our flat surface. And so now I'm going to just cut down the middle of our Mr. Scarecrow head. I'm going to put half to the side because the recipe only calls for a 1/4 cup. I think we're going to do a little bit more tonight just because I love onion and because I know a lot of us are dealing with some sinus and some cold and flu stuff. So let's just peel. I'm just peeling off the kind of hard papery edge or layer, I guess you would say, of the red onion. Oh, and while I'm doing that, I am making sure to keep Mr. Scarecrow intact, and I'll show you why in a moment. But let's keep that kind of fuzzy part on the end intact, but nobody wants this hard papery layer on there. So take that off. All right, so now we are left, actually, no, we're not. This is kind of funny. This has never happened to me before. Thank you all for witnessing this very interesting level of skin. You know what? I'm just going to take off one more layer because this will still give us more than a 1/4 cup of onion. By the way, Rhonda, I just had a little flashback come to me. Do you remember back in the day, before I took classes on how to cook, before I took any kind of culinary nutrition, I remember sitting in your kitchen, you and your sweet hubby's kitchen, and I asked if I could help cook. And you said, of course, peel a cucumber. I think I grabbed a knife like this, which is crazy. And I started like trying to go really slow, and I really wanted to impress you because I think we were making a salad that night. And you looked at me because I think you were like, you were over here. I don't know if it was the sink or the stove. And you're like, Michelle, you could just use a peeler. And I'm like, oh. So how far we've come. I feel really comfortable with a peeler these days. I actually just peeled some ginger a little while ago. And now we'll get back to this onion that is taking me, you know, entirely so much longer than it normally does. So we got Mr. Scarecrow intact there. What we're going to do next, because it's flat, we're laying the onion down flat again. We're going to go one slice in the middle of this onion. So we went this way. And then now I'm just going to make like thin slices this way before we chop it. And before I do this, my 10-minute chopping up a half of an onion, I see some movement on Facebook. Let's see. Oh, Laura loves my glasses. Thanks, lady. I'll bring them when I see you this weekend. No, just kidding. I won't do that. All right. And Alicia says, never heard of onion goggles. Hilarious. Makes me happy. Yay, that makes me happy. That is my goal in being on here tonight, is to bring you all some joy through culinary nutrition. All right, so we've got our half cut in the onion that way. And now, again, I'm just going to make long slices this way. And you see now why we kept Mr. Scarecrow intact, right? Because, look, our onion is still intact, and it just makes it easier to make those slices down to get our chops in. All right, so I went long ways, and now I'm going to go very kind of thin slices to get actual chops. And you can see we've got the choppy chop. And again, I'm making kind of nice sized, bite-sized chunks, and the onion is smaller than bite-sized because I'm saving half of the soup for the hubby, who's gonna have it like a stewy kind of soup. But if I were just to make the pureed soup that I normally do for me, I wouldn't be this neat. Plus, I kind of want to impress my friends. So, impress, whoever you want to in your household if you want. But we're just going to keep chopping and move on. All right, so now that the onion is in all bite-sized pieces, let's move on to the garlic. So we're going to do 3 cloves garlic. I've got these gorgeous little mamas here. And see, my nose is even running, but my eyes aren't running or watering, so it's all good in the hood. All right, so I'm gonna get out some of my aggression on the garlic clove. Bam. Oh, I think my bracelet got in there. Do another little and a third. Yeah, but that's a very, formal, appropriate way to talk about slicing open the garlic. All right, now I'm just chopping off the woody ends of the garlic and putting the papery pieces in my little magic rubbish bowl. All right, rubbish. I think that's like old English. We won't even get started on the media swarm in London, because Mama has a lot to talk about with that, and I would totally lose track of cooking. So I'm just gonna focus on our dinner tonight. How about that? All right, so we've got our 3 pieces of garlic. Excuse me, our 3 cloves of garlic, and I'm just gonna cut down the middle, and then again, you can cut these as small or as large as you want. I'm gonna include them in my little onion pile. And we happen to love garlic in our house. As you know, it is antiviral and anti-inflammatory. So you just can't, I just can't get enough of garlic. I was gonna say you can't have too much, but you can, because it can be a little acidic to our stomach lining, so you never wanna overdo it, but when we cook it, it takes a lot of that acidity out, so we would be fine. But 3 cloves for this recipe this evening. Next, we've got 1 inch of chopped ginger. So, some people use the back of a spoon to just kind of slice off the ginger, or the skin on the ginger. I use peeler. Thank you. I was just talking. And yes, the husband is laughing at me right now. So we're just gonna peel a little bit more of the edges off. I said about 1 inch. This is probably about 1.5 inches finger of ginger. But, ooh, I just got a whiff. I love, love, love the smell and the taste of ginger. And because it is relatively hard enough, we are going to saute it with the onion and the garlic as well. So, but I actually don't think I want 1.5 fingers. We'll just do a finger. So very similar. After I peeled it, I'm just cutting it in half, and then I am slicing it in super thin slices. Well, super thin to me. It would normally be a little bit chunkier, again, if I were just pureeing it, but I love my husband, and I do not want him to choke on any of these veggies, so we are making them bite-sized and delicious. Let's see. Sweet. So I'm going to turn the stove on so we can start warming up the healthy fats. And I know I said we'd talk later, but can anybody tell me why we use healthy fats and why we want to put them in as many meals as possible? And or, I guess side B question could be, what would constitute a healthy fat? Is olive oil a healthy fat? Is margarine a healthy fat? Is avocado oil a healthy fat? I want to hear from you while the butter, well, my vegan butter, is heating up. Let's see. We've got, oh, yay, hi, Henry. So good to see you. You can cook and go swimming at the same time. Oh, yeah. We're swimming in the kitchen. You know, you won't have to enjoy this beautiful look for too much longer. As soon as the onions start sauteing, they won't be as potent, and Mama will start and try to be a little bit braver, and I'll take them off. Let's see. So Rhonda says that olive oil is good for the skin. Yes. Actually, taking it internally, and actually I use it on my external skin sometimes. So yes, olive oil is also anti-inflammatory and antiviral, so we like that. So yeah, so it's the olive oil, it's the avocado oil. Lisa Armstrong, hello sweet Lisa, so great to see you and welcome. Lisa on Facebook says she uses avocado oil sometimes, mostly olive oil. Love it. So yes, the olive oil, the avocado oil, coconut oil, and ghee are the 4 oils that we cook with, because that healthy fat feeds our brain. And our brains are made up of mostly fat, and so they need that as a reminder to say, yes, we are healthy. Yes, we can do this. So for every single meal, whether it's a snack, breakfast, lunch, brunch, dinner, whatever you're eating, I always recommend you have a healthy fat, a protein, and a fiber. And having those 3 in combination will just keep you satiated for longer, for one. But 2, it's just going to help nourish your body in all kinds of ways. So for those of us who are cooking right now, hopefully your oils are heating up. I've got the stove on about medium high, or is it highly medium? It's closer to the high button than the medium. But my butter's almost there. And then we are going to put in the red onion, the ginger, and the garlic. All right, do we have any questions or comments? Let's see. All right. Perfect. Well, I hear the sizzling, so here we go. Here we go, yo. Here we go, yo. Got the red onion, the garlic. Woo, can you guys hear the sizzles? That always makes me so happy. And hopefully it's gonna be smelling better in here. I will admit, I let the cauliflower go a little bit longer than normal. I think I've had it in the fridge for about a week and a half, so it's a bit pungent in the kitchen right now. So with all these other yum aromatic veggies, it's gonna be smelling so much better in this kitchen. Thank you, baby, for hanging in there. I appreciate it. Let's see. So I've got, again, the onion, the garlic. Oh, and let's see if you can see my pot. I don't know if you can see what's inside the pot yet. I'll work on that. And so, as that is sauteing, we are going to chop our carrots. Again, I did kind of coin bite-sized pieces for the man. If you're going to puree your soup, feel free to do larger chunks. Also, with the cauliflower, same thing. Either bite-size or chunks, depending on your end result. I've chopped up most of the cauliflower. I have a little bit more. But what I wanted to show you is when you store cauliflower, you want to make sure it is dry. So you bring it home from the grocery store. A lot of us, unfortunately, usually probably have to get the cauliflower that is in the plastic. We want to take it out of the plastic as soon as possible because that plastic can often leach chemicals into our veggies, and we don't want that. And then you're just going to chop it in the way that you will be cooking it that week. So in your food prep, take that 5 to 10 minutes just to chop it up and get creative, whether it's a ball jar or if you have other glass storage jars, and then put it in the fridge, but keep it dry. Don't rinse it until right before you're going to cook it. And yes, I did rinse this one. So we are good and safe with the cauliflower tonight. This is happy, healthy, clean cauliflower. All right. I can smell it. Can you see some of the sizzlings. I'm gonna put this jar to the side. Sauteed garlic. Oh, hubby just said, that's a good sign.
Yeah, Rhonda's had it sizzling and smelling and good up in her condo. Yum.
Oh, yay! So Rhonda is cooking with us. Sweet. Well, Rhonda, let me know as we get towards the end if you want to share your creations too. I would love to share the screen. And so while mine is sauteing in a larger pot, it looks like it has softened the garlic and the onions. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw in the carrots because they're obviously harder as well. And then I'll finish chopping up the cauliflower and we'll get that in there before we get our liquid on top to cover. So, getting the carrots. Trying to avoid some of the cauliflower just because the cauliflower is softer and we don't want to get it mushy, especially if you want more of a stewy type of soup. So I got the carrots in with the onion, garlic, and ginger. And if you don't have broth, if you're just doing water for your cover, you might want to add the salt now just to give the soup that nice base, yummy saltiness. I'm going to wait a little bit while it's cooking later because I do have half broth and half filtered water for this one tonight. All right, and again, cutting the cauliflower in bite-sized pieces. And I'm checking the ingredients to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Okay, we are almost there. This is fantastic. One more thing I did want to mention though is with carrots, with storing them. I left this one out because unlike the cauliflower that can get moldy if it has water on it before you store it. And again, hip tip, keep your cauliflower dry in the fridge while you're storing it. Carrots are opposite. They want the water. And you do want to cut off both ends because if you don't, they're going to still keep trying to grow and it's not pretty. We like the nice crisp carrots, don't we? We don't want the which is going to happen if you don't store them in the water. Carrots like the water. All right, so keep sauteing. Yes, this is a family show, people. All right, so we got the ingredients. We're putting in the cauliflower. Oh, we had one random carrot there. And then I cut a little bit more cauliflower before. But this is an entire head of cauliflower that we're putting here to the soup. And I am just going to stir it all around to make sure that everything is covered in a little bit of the beautiful oil and the beautiful aroma of the garlic and the onion and the ginger. All right, next we're going to put in our seasoning. So I said 2 teaspoons of thyme. That's my favorite for any soup. For those of you cooking along with me, thyme, don't you think it just smells like home-cooked chicken noodle soup that just makes all your problems go away? That's what thyme smells like to me. Then I'm putting in some sea salt. I say 1 teaspoon, but this one is a Celtic sea salt, so I'm putting a little bit less. I found this recipe actually. It's a seasoned sea salt from Coach Courtney Contos. Check her out if you want some more recipes. She is amazing, and she also teaches, what would you say? We'll just keep it simple, culinary nutrition for a lot of us with autoimmune issues. But this Celtic sea salt, it has garlic and parsley and some other beautiful herbs in there, which are really fun. So we've got the thyme, we've got the sea salt. Now we need the black pepper. All right. And if you're allergic to black pepper, which some people I've learned are, leave it out. It will still taste, your soup will still taste delicious. And then now we are going to cover our veggies in the liquid. Again, got creative. I'm using filtered water, 3 cups, and 3 cups of, I'm using chicken broth, but feel free to use vegetable broth, beef broth, whatever you have in your pantry or your kitchen. Whew. So the sizzling's down for a second. I'm going to stir everything and make sure that, again, everything's covered in liquid and that everything kind of touches some of the seasonings. And I'm going to put, oh, you know what? I just looked it over. One thing I did not put in the recipe and ingredients, but one thing I realized after the fact is an option of seaweed. Again, trying to get creative with the jars. This is an old spaghetti sauce jar that we used. But aramay is an amazing seaweed that definitely smells like the sea. But I'll show you. It's got, it's dried, typically in Japan. And I know they have this really exquisite way of harvesting it. I don't think you or I can just go pick it out of the ocean. I don't think we want any of that. That might be toxic. But the aramay adds another level of minerals into our body. So that's aramay. There's also wakame, and it's a little bit thicker and it smells a lot fishier. So I'm guessing it probably has way more nutrients in it as well. So I'm going to plop just a little bit, but you can go wild and add as much as you want. As with any menu item we're cooking, we always want to see how many nutrients we can pack into one meal. And I'm actually going to put a little bit more of the aramay in. One, because it's gorgeous, but really more important because it's really good for us. All right, I'm going to put that to the side. Now I'm going to mix it all together, and then I'm going to put the lid on because we want to get this soup up to a boil. And then we're going to let it simmer for about 20 minutes. So I'm going to cover the pot all the way and give it some good vibes. All right, goggles are coming off. Oh, and the house smells so much better. So, thank you, baby. I think we're good. I would love, first question, so I've got 3. First question, really simple, very straightforward. What are you grateful for today? We have so much going on in the world that I think it's really good to just pause and look at the good stuff right now. I am willing to start. I'll raise my hand. Hi, I'm Michelle. And I am grateful for my hot husband who just supports me in so many of my fun ideas and maybe not so fun ideas, but I love that he's always there to listen. So I am grateful for Steve. I am also grateful for living in Colorado and just the diversity that this state offers. And what else am I grateful for? I am grateful for the abundance of yummy organic food that I know is feeding my body, nourishing my body, and feeding my family. So those are 3 things I am grateful for. What about you all? Let's see if we have any comments yet. Let's see, Rhonda says, sizzling and smelling good up in this condo. Yum and yay, I'm so glad. Smart focus, awesome. And let's see with Facebook, it looks like it goes down. All right. So Alicia is asking why filtered water doesn't boiling the water clean the water? Awesome question. Thank you so much for asking. So yes and no. If you think about it, there's often toxins in water, toxins, heavy metals, heavy minerals that we just don't want in our system because well, that's a whole nother science lesson, but you get it. You know what I'm talking about. When you boil the water, those toxins, a lot of them, yes, they do evaporate, but most of them are coming down to the bottom of your pot. And so you still have those heavy metals in your foods. So at all possible, I am begging you, your body's begging you, only drink the filtered water. Whether you have the filter in your fridge, or you can buy those filtered, the handheld ones to put in your fridge, or better yet, if you can get a reverse osmosis system in your house, I think that would be amazing. I think the number one, my teacher would always say, is a well. Just build a well. No problem. Most of us living in the suburbs or the city, that's probably not going to be possible, but well water is the freshest and the cleanest, the spring water. So yes, thanks for asking. We want filtered water in anything that we're cooking or ingesting. All right, let's see. And then Alicia says, I am super grateful for my community who have been so encouraging during this transition. Woo woo! For those of you all who don't know, I'll read the rest in a minute. Alicia is our now first, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Alicia, first African American and first female to be CEO of Big Brother, Big Sister of Colorado, which is just amazing and so exciting. And I'm just so grateful for the work that you are doing, because I can tell you, when I was a single mom, I actually leaned on Big Brothers, Big Sisters, and you all were a lifesaver. So I definitely feel connected to you and to your cause. So amazing. So you are grateful for your community, also grateful for expressive people like you. Aw, thank you. And your crazy love for Steve. Yes. I think we should definitely do emphasis on the crazy, because yes, I do have crazy love for Steve. It gives me encouragement and hope after a divorce. That makes me, and he's nodding his head, him, so happy. Thank you, because you know my story. Steve and I both have been through a divorce, and being on the other side just makes it that much sweeter. So thank you for sharing that with us. I'm so appreciative and grateful. Let's see. You're also grateful for the transition in your new job. So much love. Yay! I cannot wait to connect with you in person and get some of those deets. Thank you for sharing, Alicia, and thank you so much for being part of my community. All right, and so Rhonda here on Instagram says she's grateful for amazing friendship over the years, supporting each other. Amen. Love you, girl. And thank you for sharing your healthy info. Blessings, and wow. Thank you, Rhonda Rue. I am grateful for you. All right. Oh, good. I'm glad. So we're on the record. It's in black and white. Alicia did correct me, and I'm grateful. So she says, with Big Brother, Big Sister, first African American, and I believe only the second female. It's hard to trace over 104-year history. Love it. Okay, thank you for the heads up. Good to know. And then Jeremiah says, well, first of all, hi Jeremiah. Thanks so much for being here. I cooked the zoodles a couple weeks ago, so if you want to check me out on Instagram, I know you asked about zoodles a while back. I've got a whole workshop on making those zoodles, so I'm here for you, little bro. So you said, thanks for sharing some cooking tips. I need them living on my own. Woo, woo. Gotta love that independence. I'm so proud of you, and my pleasure. Thank you for being here. All right, so as we're letting this simmer, and actually I don't hear it, but this is kind of heavy. Okay, we're getting there. Ooh, did you see that steam kind of floating out? All right, we'll give it a little bit more time. So then, the second question I have is, how can I serve you? I can tell you, I have quite a few ideas for, one, how the remainder of this year looks as far as me teaching and being in the culinary nutrition world. I also have some ideas for the next 5 years, which I'm really excited about. So with that said, I need input. So I'm going to be coming into your inboxes. I'm going to be posting. I'm going to be asking my friends how I can serve you. And I mean that sincerely. Like, what are some of the things you're struggling with? I will say one of my friends here, I don't want to call you out. You're welcome to call yourself out if you want, but I know you said you did not love cooking when you had kids in the house. And so one of my goals is to now, hopefully in our growing friendship, is to help and share tips and help you love to learn it. But maybe you don't want that, and maybe you just want help like planning ahead, or maybe you just want to know like, well, really, what is the value of eating a carrot? Or I don't know, like I just know that I'm called to serve, and I would love feedback on how I can serve better. So whether you say something here, from my friends who are watching the replay, if you could send me a DM or even put it in the comments, or send me an email or send me a text. You notice I didn't say call because I'm still that introverted girl. I really don't love talking on the phone. But let me know, like, how can I best serve you? Like, what is something either me or maybe a teacher I could link you to that could help you reach your goals? And before I start reading, and goals could be whether it's losing weight, trying to eat healthier, trying to find out how to balance your hormones. I'm going through menopause right now, so this year has been an interesting challenge trying to balance all the different hormones, whether it's trying to get healthy food on the table for your children. I want to know. All right, so looks like we don't have any comments yet, and that's perfectly fine. But just to plant the seed now, just so you know, I am open and wanting feedback. All right, and so now the third question is anybody on Facebook cooking right now? And do you want to share the screen with me? Last week we had the option to share on Instagram, so that's why this week, to play fair, I have children, you know, everything has to be fair. I'm opening it up to my Facebook family to see if you want to hop on to either say hi or to share what you're cooking as well, or anything else I might be missing. I'll give you a second. All right. Well, no problem. We'll have another opportunity in 2 weeks. I am going to do probably my last live for a while in 2 weeks. Yes, that'll be March 24th, Wednesday evening, 6:30 Mountain. I hope you all can join me again. And check out my events page at michellefox.com/events, because I will definitely keep you updated on a lot of things I have cooking up. And yes, pun intended. We've got some really fun workshops coming up that I would love to have you all join me and be a part of. I haven't quite signed a certain contract yet, but as soon as that contract gets signed, I promise you'll be the first to know, and you can come celebrate and come cook with me. All right, so let's see. Steve Cakes did a attention.
Rhonda has a question on Instagram.
Oh, yes.
Types of gluten-free brands you recommend for bread?
Awesome question. So gluten-free brands that I would recommend for bread. So Canyon, is it Canyon or Red Canyon?
It's something, it could be, I don't know if it's Boulder Canyon, but they're something.
Oh, I think it is Boulder Canyon.
Or Southern Canyon, or something, maybe that was
something Canyon. As Steve just said.
I'll check the name.
All right, so our super producer will check the name and get back to us. But that's probably my favorite, because I think it tastes just as good, if not better, than the regular bread. So we love that brand. And then there was another one at Costco.
Is the German, yeah, so.
Oh, actually, so I'll talk about the one at Costco that we find at Costco. But then Char, I think it's SCHAR, they're a German brand. And we love pretty much any of their products. They make amazing pizza crust. They make a awesome baguette, French baguette that's like this big. And they make a couple other snacks that we eat. So I'd say Char, and we find them at King Soopers and at Sprouts. And then, so it's Canyon Bakehouse, gluten-free. That's my fave, because it's still like soft and gooey and doughy. Thank you, babe, for grabbing that. So Canyon House is my number one. I'd say Char is my number two. All right. Let's see. So, Consuelo, hello, beautiful. Great to have you here this evening. You said, I'm cooking and we'll post a picture if it comes out okay. Hey, just as I said earlier when we were chopping, there is nothing beautiful or perfect about culinary nutrition. We just want to get that nutrition in. So please post a photo, even if it's not beautiful. I will definitely love on you and celebrate you. All right. And then Alicia says she has to go grocery shopping and cook with me soon. Absolutely, Alicia. I would love that. And now that you said that, I'll make sure you get some updates so you know well in advance when I'll be here and we can cook together. I would absolutely love that. All right, so I still don't hear it boiling. Hopefully yours is. And if you did get yours to boiling, you want to turn it down to a simmer. And just so you know some of the nutrients and why we are cooking this soup, we already said the healthy fat is helping our brain. It also balances our hormones and balances our moods. So if you got teenagers in the house, healthy fats. Get that canola oil out as fast as you can. I can't stress enough how damaging canola oil can be to our brains. So we only want the healthy fats in there. The red onion is going to be antiviral, antibacterial, and anti-inflammatory. And that's pretty much anything in the allium family. So that's the onions, that's your garlic, that's your leeks and your celery. So any of those nutrients, get them in. The ginger, as you know, or I'm guessing you might know, it's anti-spasmodic. So if you have like muscle issues or some nervous system issues, it opens up those vessels, which is awesome. And since we are in cold and flu season, if you're even just boiling some tea over the stove, making some ginger tea, that's an amazing healing remedy. Your mom back in the day, your father, your grandmother, whoever made you that ginger tea, they weren't just making it up. It's real. It's science. That's the nutrients that keep us healthy. We've got the carrots, which have the beta carotene. And similar, you grew up knowing, I think safely assume with this group, that the beta carotene is great for our eyes. Yes, that is true. And the cauliflower, you know that's my favorite veggie. If you didn't know, now you know. It's chock full of vitamin C, which is just always a fun surprise to know, but a great reminder. So again, that's going to help ward off the cold and flu season. And then at the end, we're going to put the herbs in. And you know, anything green, for the most part, is going to give us that chlorophyll and just that extra boost to our systems. So that is why I chose all of these yummy, delicious ingredients. And that is why we're putting them together for our soup this evening. So I saw some movements. Let me reach in because as I told you about the menopause, my eyesight's kind of going along with that. TMI, that's what I got going on right now. All right, let's see. Time on the calendar, absolutely. And to do a cooking session, I would absolutely love that with you, Alicia and Consuelo, and our sister group. I would love to do a cooking session. And with Joy Thomas, too. For those of you all who are watching, our girl Joy, I think she just started a food truck business, and it looks amazing. So we got to support all of us in this community. So those are the ingredients. Let me just double check on the soup to see where we are. Oh, yeah, we got a little sizzling going on, some simmering. So I'm just gonna stir it again to make sure every nutrient gets some love. And now I'm gonna put the lid on, kind of about like, I'm just leaving like a sliver open. So some of the liquid has a chance to escape, but I'm also turning the heat down to about medium. And I'm gonna let it simmer for probably a good 15 minutes at this point. And I believe we've had all of the communication that we can have at this point. We've talked about the nutrients. I'll put another plug in to say if you have feedback from me on how I can best support you, I truly, sincerely want to know. And then, of course, for events, michellefox.com/events. And I will definitely keep you posted on upcoming fun. Did I mention fun workshops coming up? All right, let's see. I see a few more movements. We got, oh, and we're having, okay, they're talking to each other. I love my girls. You guys are amazing. All right. So,
I was going to say you had two people join on Instagram, and Rhonda had a question there as well.
Oh, a question. Awesome. Okay. So I'd like to hear some hormone balancing, please. Oh, thank you for that. Okay, that can be like a whole session on its own. So thank you, Rhonda, for mentioning that. I promise you I will make note of that. I can tell you I have one blog post at michellefox.com called Eating for Menopause. And that was a workshop I did for AARP a couple weeks ago. And oh no, actually that was a month or so ago. And I did that workshop for Second Act Women. So yes, start there. And then I promise I will continue to talk about it, because as I'm learning on my journey, you know your girl, I have to share it with my community. So once I get a few more answers and I feel a little bit more confident talking about it, you have my word, I will share. All right, that is it for now. I would love to see you all in 2 weeks right here, or there is a link that's up now if you want to register to join my class with AARP on April 1st, April Fool's Day. We'll be cooking breakfast for dinner, which will be really fun. And that would be a free workshop to you. The link I have on my website, you would register through AARP and it would be free. And then, like I said, more things to be continued, to be posted. And I saw one more movement. Let's see, thanks. And just thinking about that makes me happy. I'm in. Yay. All right. Well, thank you all so much for being here. This was truly so much fun. And I will see you on the other side. Have a great evening. Good night.